I'm Forrest. Welcome to my weekly vlog. I have broken my foot. I don't know if you can see the cast, but so I'm going a little insane because I can't leave my bed. But I will be doing a lot of reading. I'll be doing some writing. I'll be doing some drawing. I can't promise that this will be like the most aesthetic vlog ever because I can't like go out and like do cozy things, but this morning I made like a TikTok about like my weekly media check-in of like the movies and TV shows I've been watching, and I ended up yapping for 8 minutes, and TikTok does not like videos that are 8 minutes long, especially if you are a small creator like me. So I was thinking, and I was like, I think it's time for me to lock into my booktube and make some reading content, because I haven't done that in a very long time because I feel kind of insecure standing in front of a camera, but I think that's normal. But yeah, I just wanted to do, first let's talk about what I've been reading. Oh my god, this is like the holy grail of romantasy for me from now on. It's Son of the Morning by Akwaeke and Emezi, and I've always like been really intrigued by their writing. I started reading Freshwater a long time ago. I did not DNF, I just did not finish. I mean, I guess that is DNFing, but like, it's not that I was intentionally like, oh, I don't want to read this. It's just that I'm a mood reader, so I'm constantly reading 10 books at a time, and some of them get left in the dust. But I do know that like I love their writing style, and I was really intrigued by a lot of their books. But as far as Son of the Morning, I knew I would eat that shit up because I love romantasy, and it's a beautiful time to be a romantasy guy because there's all this like romantasy hate going around on Book Talk because someone said that romantasy girlies are not the brightest, which is simply misogynistic and not true. But yeah, I felt like it's a great time to be celebrating romantasy when it's been getting a little bit of hate. But yeah, this was amazing. So I feel like I'm just rambling. Let me talk about what the book is actually about. So it's like kind of gothic angel demon fantasy, southern. Basically, it's a romantasy that follows an individual named Galilee, I think. And Galilee is this woman who grew up in the woods with a community of women who are hunters, and all are like, they call them favored, I think, in this world. Basically, they all are like human, but like they all have magical powers, but there's something off about Galilee. All of her sisters and her cousins and her grandmother and her mother, like they're all like, something is off with this girl. Like they say like she smells different, like everyone has like their own magical scent. And the writing style is so beautiful. The opening line really, I just remember it so well. And the opening line talks about how she has this deep sense of foreboding, but she also has this cavernous hunger of a want, and she can't tether either of those feelings to something specific, but it's sort of an omnipresent feeling she has. And basically she can tell something's off, but like she doesn't really know what's going on, and she decides to venture out into Salvation, which is like a neighboring town, and she just wants to go and live like a regular life. And one thing I did like about her little home life was that no men were allowed, and I am a trans man in case you didn't know, so I guess I wouldn't be there, which is totally valid, but I do hate most men, so I think communes of women is really beautiful. And basically this book is way more gay than I thought it would be, because I know Akwaeke is non-binary and they write a lot of queer books, but due to the cover of it all, I thought it was going to be a little bit straighter than what they normally write. Lo and behold, there is Yuri. But yeah, it's very like poly MFM, beautiful, yearning, insta-love. There's a yearning, and then there is an insta-love. Best of both worlds. Insta-love, I had a bone to pick with because I just don't like that trope. But I did think it worked for the story. I don't want to like get too much into that. It's about angels and demons, and when Galilee goes out into salvation, she encounters a beautiful man who she feels drawn to, and she makes a barter with her. With him, she makes a deal with him, and it turns out, small spoiler, but this is literally the first chapter, and I'm sure it's on the blurb of the book. It is Lucifer, it is Satan, it is hell itself that she has encountered, and they have this like very deep connection, and it seems like they're almost fated, and they have like this magical link, and neither of them can figure out why, and you have to read on to figure out what it is from. But I thought this was amazing. I gave it 5 stars, and as far as my other reading, I have been, like, for previous reading, I was rereading Mate. I got to probably like 80% in. I do think I'm probably gonna DNF. I might like finish it just to get like that extra book for my book goal of the year, because I'm 2 books away from finishing my yearly goal, but which is 50 books. Let's go. Yeah, but I have like a couple directions I could go for my reading. Last night I was reading Lana Harper's Payback's a Witch, which is like a sapphic, cozy, fantasy, witchy, set in a beautiful like witch town. I genuinely, the first time I read this book, I hated it, but then I couldn't stop thinking about the world that the author built, and it's just like so cozy. Like it's like practical magic. Well, the book itself, I would say, is like practical magic meets Goblet of Fire meets John Tucker Must Die. And that sounds fucking perfect. The first time I read it, I think I was just in a bitter place and I was being really critical. I think the dialogue could be a little more realistic, and you can really tell a millennial wrote it. I don't know that the author is actually a millennial. It just feels like the author's a millennial, and I have nothing against millennials. I think I just was like, this, what's the word? Like slang? Is that a word? Yeah, just the way they were talking, I was like, what's happening right now? But the romantic tension between the sapphic leads is chef's kiss. And I've been reading a lot of romance, but I haven't really been reading as much sapphic romance, which except for, hold on, let me pull something up for you. Okay, so my Kindle isn't working, so I had to take a second, but I read this sapphic romance recently. I think I read it in October, so it's been a little while, but Bloomtown Genesis and Bloomtown Exodus, both, I think I gave Bloomtown Exodus 4 stars because I was getting pissed off that somebody kept getting chloroformed, but also it was just making me angry. But this is amazing. Mask femme, lesbian, cowboy romance, historical fiction, kidnapping plot. That's enough. That's enough. Sign me up. But it's also like a beautiful, beautiful series. I don't want to say too much more on it because I will just keep yapping. But I just wanted to say, like, I haven't been reading a lot of sapphic romance, but I actually have been. It's just been like a month, which makes me feel the absence of lesbians quite strongly. But yeah, so the directions I'm going with reading, so for this weekly video, I think it will mostly just be a reading vlog with like some writing and drawing, like, and like snippets of life thrown in there, but like primarily I'll be reading because I think making that TikTok today made me realize I really miss yapping about books, and that I was just like overthinking it for like a literal year. But so I did something crazy today. I watched Mortal Instruments City of Bones with my cousin, a rewatch, of course. And what a wild ride. That series is insane. Shadow hunters, demon hunters, gifted from the angels, humans, not really humans. I'm sure you're familiar. If you're on BookTube, you know shadow hunters, but I don't want to assume that. If you don't know who the shadow hunters are, just know the origins of that series are kind of freaky, and it had me like leaning away from it for a really long time. But then you just have to kind of acknowledge that the whole siblings to lovers thing, they're not actually siblings, don't worry. It's just weird. It's just weird. But the book itself, the world building is amazing. And it's like a guilty pleasure. It's like rereading Twilight. Like, I am here with my cousin. My leg is broken. I'm gonna indulge in some guilty pleasures, and I'm going to read. So I think I'm gonna keep reading Payback's a Witch. I'm going to buddy read the first book of the Mortal Instruments series, which I think is City of Bones. Tomorrow I'm gonna reread it. Just because the best part of that series is before any of the weird sibling stuff starts. And maybe that's not true because I haven't read all 14 books of the franchise. And I did read them when I was in middle school, which was like over 10 years ago. But yeah, I'm gonna buddy read that with my cousin tomorrow, and we're gonna have a readathon. It's gonna be great. I also really want to read Oathbound because the Legendborn trilogy, I think by Tracy Deonn, so good. And Oathbound was one of my most anticipated books of the year, and when it came out, I just didn't read it. I think I wanted to do a reread, and that's why I still haven't read Song of the Reaping, the new Hunger Games book, because I haven't read A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and I wanted to reread all the Hunger Games to get there. And sometimes I think I have to realize I don't have to reread everything. I think it's a better experience for sure. But, yeah, like, I'm just gonna read Oathbound because after watching that movie, I was like, I really want YA, but like without siblings and focusing on Black fantasy. And that gives us Oathbound, the ancestral witchcraft versus like what's his name? That king? I forget. The historical Merlin, the wizard. This is why I need to do a reread, but it's okay. It will come back to me. Maybe I'll look up a summary. But I just like really miss that YA yearning and that like YA like magic, and I haven't read YA in a while. I don't know if I've read any YA this year, which is like weird for me. And I also really want to read Ryan LaSala's new YA book. But I will not be doing that this week because I can only handle one YA at a time. And then, lastly, okay, everything I've been yapping about, I will not be tackling at all. This is just kind of like thoughts of books that I'm excited about right now. When I do a TBR, it's very loose because I am a mood reader, as I said. And these are some of the books that literally broke my bone because they were in my bag when it fell on my leg when I fell down the stairs. But I have seen... Was it worth it? Maybe. We will see. But I've seen this challenge going around on BookTube and Book Talk called Read It or Unhaul It, where you take one book from your physical TBR a week and you have to read it or you have to unhaul it. Now, see, I am not a speed reader, so I'm going to do one a month, but I haven't decided if I'm going to do Black Flame or if I'm going to do The Last Dreams. So I think I'm going to finish this month, whether or not I choose it as the Read It or Unhaul. So part of me wants to just read this for fun and then do this for the challenge. And so the Black Flame, it's by the same author as Manhunt. And I honestly really don't know what it's about. And I want to go in blind. So I will. But The Last Dreams is a collection of photographs of Egypt and translated dream, like kind of poems, but they're kind of just journals about a dreams. And I've been working on a dream series of poems, and dreams are really influential in my novel. So the dreams are from Naguib Mahfouz. I'm definitely saying that wrong. I am sorry. But he's a very like masterful novelist, and he was a Nobel laureate. He's most famous for the Cairo trilogy, and basically these are all his translated dreams from the last years of his life, and it's really beautiful so far. I really love it. I'm probably, let's see how I'm 37 pages in, and there's 135 pages, so I think I could definitely finish this month. So I'm not sure which I will do read it or unhaul it for. Sorry, I feel like I'm a little all over the place because I have been starved for yapping time because I am isolated in this room while I heal from my broken leg. But yeah, so those are kind of all the books. I'm also buddy reading Carmilla in the most gay way possible. I will not be elaborating on that, but I will tell you my thoughts about the book. Yeah, I think that's everything. So I'm gonna do some reading tonight, and I will check in tomorrow. I think I'm gonna do Oathbound for tonight, but we will see, as I am a mood reader. Okay. Okay, so I'm back. It's been probably less than an hour. This was a very quick read. I finished the collection I Found Myself, The Last Dreams by Mahfouz, and translated by Hisham Matar, and photographs by Diana Matar. It's actually a married couple that translated and photographed this collection. I honestly really feel like I could just keep going through the photographs. Some of them I'm like, oh, it's like, you know, it's really, really beautiful. And then some of them I'm like, oh, you know, it's just a photo of some fish. But also, I'm not a photographer, so I don't really know like what's good photography, but I do know some made me feel more than others. I would give this 3 stars. It's just a collection of dreams. And so I think if you have an interest in dreams as like a literary device and as like a spiritual realm and like as a form of the psyche to understand society and culture and politics and human emotions, beautiful. But I do think if you're reading a book for like plot and narrative, this is not it. It's not fiction. It's literally just a catalog of dreams, and some are just like, okay, you were walking down the street and then you saw something weird happen. And so it can get like kind of boring if you are not super into dreams, which is why I'm only giving it 3 stars. But I do think it's like really fascinating to read a dream collection from an artist and from a novelist who is so talented. I haven't read any of his work, but just based on the way he writes in his dreams, it's like really, really beautiful. Like Dream 243, I found myself searching for evidence that my love was not an illusion but real. My lover had departed in the glory of her youth, and by now the witnesses too were gone. The features of our street had changed, and in the place of her house with its flower garden, a high-rise block stood, densely populated. Nothing remained of the past except memories without proof. I could just keep reading from this. It's like, it's so beautiful. I'm really interested in this repeated character in the dream, which is like a real person from his life. She's described as B. She's someone that he loved when in his youth, and they both separated and married other people and like did not reconnect, but she is like really reoccurring in the collection even though he's near the end of his life. And I wrote some of my thoughts down on the side, so I'll just share what I was thinking. I wrote, I'm most intrigued by this long lost love of how she haunts him and how he holds on to her even in the last years of his life. These precious memories, this I can understand. Yeah, I really love this. I think I'm gonna go through and make like, I'm not gonna annotate the whole thing. I annotated it a little bit, but I'm gonna do like one of those cover images where you like make an artistic like collection of quotes on the opening page. I think I'm gonna do that and write a real book review. So for all of these books that I'm talking about in this vlog, I will like comment a link to the actual book review below, because I'll have like way more like literary thoughts about them. But when I try to write the review first and then talk about it in the vlog, I overthink and I freeze up and I sound like a robot. It's not ideal. But yeah, I love this. But again, just a 3. I wish I had like more physical poetry books, but again, I only have the bag that I fell down the stairs with because I came straight from the hospital to my cousin's house. And so I've been reading online primarily the last few months, but this is like the first like physical book I've read in literal months, which is crazy. But it's been really nice to like draw in the book and write in the margins. I love to just like write all over my books, and I know that's not for everyone, but I do love it. And I've also just been like enjoying engaging with words that like don't require me to stick to a narrative, so that I can listen to music at the same time. Listening to music while reading is a fairly new development for me, except for like I used to do that a long time ago, but like as an adult, that's like a fairly new development for me. Yeah, I'm not sure what I'll read next. I will check in with you and let you know. I got this mug yesterday. I would sip out of, but it is full of cereal right now. Yeah, I just want to do a quick reading update. It is Wednesday. I think the last time I checked in was on Sunday night when I finished I Found Myself the Last Dreams, the translated dream collections from an Egyptian novelist, and the photographs of Egypt. Yeah, I've been reading a lot, but I've been doing it as like a mood reader. So like I picked up Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I read a couple chapters of that. Amazing. This is like, if I pick up another book, it's not like I DNF it. It's like I'm coming back. It's just gonna take a while. I picked up the new V.E. Schwab lesbian vampire novel, which part of my winter curriculum is gonna be lesbian vampirism, so I'm not in a rush to read that. I started reading Ravishing. One of my TikTok mutuals is an author, and I've been really anticipating her, I think it's her debut novel called Ravishing, and so good so far. I wanted to keep reading, but I was really late when I started reading last night. So Ravishing, Bury Our Bones Under the Soil, is that what it's called? Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. And also I was still continuing Payback's a Witch, which is like, I think I mentioned the other day, it's that like spooky, sapphic, Halloween town-esque romance. But I didn't finish any of those, but I did finish 2 audiobooks. So I listened to one audiobook, and it's titled A Rare Recording of Mary Oliver Reading Mary Oliver. And I think there is a longer audiobook of Mary Oliver reading, but this is like from an actual like poetry reading. And honestly, I had a lot of thoughts. Personally, I read Mary Oliver the first time maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and an unpopular opinion, at the time I did not get the hype. I hated it. But there are a couple of her poems that really mean a lot to me, and recently, the last couple of weeks, I keep hearing Wild Geese, the poem, and it's like almost brought me to tears. Like, it's such a beautiful poem. Like, you just have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours. It's so good. Yeah, I think I give it 3 or 4 stars.
which is like, I think I gave it 1 star the first time I read Mary Oliver. So I think I just like was in a place where I didn't get the humor of the poems, and also I just, at the time, and still it's not my preference, I don't like very direct, reflective poems. Like, I feel like a lot of her poems kind of just feel like journal entries, but like very beautifully written, intentional journal entries, but it's just like, I like more abstract poetry, where it's kind of more of a puzzle and you have to figure it out, and there's like a lot of symbolism. There's still a lot of symbolism in Mary Oliver's work. If you're not familiar with her, she's a poet who wrote primarily about nature. I do love that she writes so much about dogs, because I love dogs. And I'm a pagan, I worship nature, so I feel like me looking at these poems when I have more of a spiritual practice has really changed my relationship to them. And I think it's just one of those poets where it's like, I don't like every single poem, but the poems I do like are like life-changing and will stick with me forever. So I think I gave it 4 stars because it's like better than 3 stars at some points. Like, it could be 5 stars at some points, but then other parts it's at 3. So I balanced it out with a good old 4. And then I read Violet Bent Backwards Over the Grass on audiobook. It was a reread. Mixed feelings. I mean, I used to be a huge Lana Del Rey stan. It's her poetry collection. I, for a while, hated her and wasn't listening to her because of her political opinions and like Question for the Culture and everything like that, and like the way she won't call herself a feminist. I don't know if that's changed. I'm not super locked into Lana Del Rey pop culture now, but I did used to be a huge stan. I do think she's a talented artist. I think she makes beautiful music. I just don't think like I connect with the content of her work because of the way she's very disconnected from her own privilege and from culture. And when I first read this book a couple years ago, I loved it. When I put it in my Goodreads like a year ago, I only give it 3 stars because of how I feel about Lana now, which maybe that's not a good way to rank things, but it's my Goodreads. I'm gonna do what I want. The first time I read it, I loved it. At the time, I was a really big stan. I feel like my expectations for musicians' poetry books, like very popular contemporary musicians, is a little bit low. Because like Halsey's, for example, not so good. There are a couple really good poems in there, but I just, honestly, I feel bad for some musicians because I feel like since they already have a platform, their barrier to entry to creating like work that is widely accessible in poetry is less, which is a good thing. Like, I wish everyone was able to publish their poetry, and self-publishing is beautiful, but I do think most, like with Halsey, I do think if she like had taken the time to work on her portfolio and like really edit it and work with a mentor and like do workshops, I think she could have made really beautiful work. Or not even like workshops, but like writing circles. But since she kind of just had that publishing deal kind of not handed to her because she worked hard to get where she was, but like I don't think a regular person could have published that collection and had it distributed at the level that Halsey did, because it just wasn't that good. But with Lana, honestly, I do think her work is beautiful. I just think the content of it I have difficulty engaging with because it can be a little vapid. I'm sorry, I know this, Lana Del Rey fans, don't come for me. I just have nuance with how I look at her work. I just, please don't come for me. I just think, I kind of live tweeted on my Goodreads reading updates, which I'll link below. But it's just kind of like, am I really supposed to feel bad for you when you're so alone on your private jet for one? And you say, I decided to do nothing about everything. Guess, girl, give us nothing. We know you do nothing about everything because you don't speak on any politics. That's the whole thing. But some of the poems were really beautiful. Like, there's this one line where it's like, no one has ever touched me without wanting to kill me. And I think that's chapter 12. And like that whole poem is really beautiful. And it's about like surviving abuse. And I do think the work that Lana has always created about that has been really beautiful. I think people who critique her for that, for romanticizing trauma, should really look more closely about the problem of like Tumblr core and like how young people will romanticize that trauma, but it's because of pop culture's relationship with like pop star worship. That's not the word I'm looking for, but I can't think of it. Like, I don't think it was her fault to speak on her own experiences about trauma. The fact that she did it in a beautiful way doesn't negate those experiences. But the real reason I listened to this audiobook is because it's low-key more of a soundscape, like album. It has music in it, and I was listening to it to fall asleep. And it's just so beautiful. It really inspired me. I have a background in music, and I am a writer, and I was like, I think it would be really nice to write some poems and collaborate with musicians and like get back into violin and maybe get my brother on the harp. But I just think like musically it's a beautiful album. I mean, it's not an album, it's an audiobook, but like I just wish there were more audiobooks like that were like an immersive musical experience. The only one I can really think of that I've personally read is Mary Lambert's audiobook, which I did not like. But if you know of any like audio albums, an album is audio, I mean like albums that are also audiobooks, or immersive like musical literary experiences, please let me know. And also like I think I'm just gonna like I'm just very into like listening to more like organic experiences in poetry, like reading Mary Oliver at her reading. Like you can hear her like trying to find the pages. Like I think I'm gonna go on YouTube and just like listen to more poetry. And I did finish both of those books, but I do think I'm gonna keep updating you guys when I read when I like read and listen to poetry outside of finishing a book, because like really big compilations like Audre Lorde's poetry, I feel like sometimes I don't read that because bookish digital spaces are so focused on completion of books, and I really just want to start engaging with the literary works that I care about and not focusing so much about like checking off a box. Yeah, I've been rambling again, but I also picked up Patti Smith's newest memoir. I only listened to a couple minutes so far. I've just been having a hard time sleeping, so I've been listening to like different audiobooks. Okay, I will see you later. Hi, so it's Thursday, the next week. I wrapped up the reading vlog on Tuesday, but my video got corrupted. So I just thought that I would come on here and kind of finish up what I've been reading. I read the other Mary Oliver audiobook called Many Miles. That's what I thought it was, but it was beautiful. She's really starting to grow on me. I also started reading an audiobook called There Are More Beautiful Things Than Beyonce by Morgan Parker. I've read Morgan Parker's first collection of poems, and I have about 35 minutes left. And then I also started reading a nonfiction book. It's called The Flowering Wand, Rewilding the Sacred Masculine. Here it is. It's called The Flowering Wand, Rewilding the Sacred Masculine. And it's just kind of about breaking down the myths of masculinity, which I thought I was really interested about, like trans masculinity. It's called Lunar Kings, Trans Species Magicians, and Rhizomatic Harpists. Yeah, it's really good so far. I want to read more nonfiction, so amazing. Read the entire book of Heated Rivalry, which is this queer hockey romance, and so good. 5 stars. I'm like so locked in to the Heated Rivalry fandom after watching the first 2 episodes last week when they came out, and immediately going to read the entire book. And I didn't include this before because technically it's this week, not last week, but I also read the entirety of The Long Game, which is the sequel to Heated Rivalry. And one second. Sorry. Sorry, my dad had to ask me a question, but I'm staying with family while my leg is broken. But yeah, I read the entirety of Heated Rivalry and The Long Game. It's so good. The romance is so good. The smut is so good. The spice levels are like I don't read a lot. Like, I read romance and I read books with spice, but I don't think I read like heavy, like smut books. I kind of like only started reading those this year, and boy, oh boy, is it a wild ride, and also so fun and so cute. Cute's the wrong word, but still amazing. But it's probably more spice than I would typically read. I love it. It's great. So great. The show is amazing. The acting is amazing. The writing is amazing. It's an enemies to lovers hockey romance about these competing hockey teams, and it spans over like 10 years. Literally the situationship of my nightmares. But in a book, it's like, oh, the yearning, oh, the angst. But in real life, I don't think I would like that. Although as a demisexual, the slow burn does work for me. But yeah, Heated Rivalry was amazing, 5 stars. I think I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads because I was pissed off that it didn't just like give us a good resolution, but I realized that's because it was leading up to the sequel, which I kind of knew, but I still wanted that resolution. But I would say now that I would give it 5 stars. And as far as The Long Game, sorry, my foot was hurting like that. The Long Game was really good. I was skeptical at first because I was like, yeah, their dynamic is really cute. Like, Ilya's like this grumpy, but like has a soft heart and is actually really silly. And then Shane's like also kind of grumpy, but he's like a golden retriever puppy. Love it. They like have their great little dynamic. But then The Long Game, spoilers ahead. They're basically in a relationship already. It's just secret, and they've told each other that they love each other. So when I read romance, I do not, it's not that I don't like a happy ending. It's just like when we get to the point in the book where they're together, I'm like, I get kind of bored. I'm like, I want to be in pain. Like, I don't know. I don't care if they're together. Like, I'm just kidding. Obviously, I want to see gay love succeed, but when I'm writing romance, I'm just like, I want to experience the pain, or like, I really want it to feel earned when they're really together, which it does feel in Heated Rivalry, but The Long Game, they're already in a relationship when it starts. So I'm like, why am I reading this? I'm not in pain. But I'm so invested in these characters and in their romance and in all of the like drama of their life and all of the like deeper themes that are explored through this book that I was like, okay, I'll read it, even though I know they're already together. I have to know what's going on with them, what's the tea, if they'll ever be able to come out of the closet. And The Long Game was surprisingly like so much deeper than I thought it would be emotionally, because Ilya has like some mental health issues that are like hereditary, and they talk about like his family's history with mental health, and they start like this mental health foundation, and basically like it really talks about male mental health and like depression. And I was watching an interview of the actors from Heated Rivalry like an hour ago, and Connor was saying, like, I don't know his last name, but the actor who plays Ilya was saying that one thing he learned through working on this project was that like when you feel slighted by someone, you might not understand what they're going through, and their intentions might be totally different. And I know a lot of people don't like miscommunication. Miscommunication isn't like the primary obstacle in this series, but miscommunication does happen, especially with like Ilya not being able to explain what he's feeling. And I think we see that a lot in Heated Rivalry as well, but I don't know, it's just like I feel like I agree with the actor in that like I think there's just a lot of layers to how people are feeling in these books, and it's not always expressed at first, and it kind of takes longer to like peel away those layers of the emotion onion. And I don't know, it was just amazing. I loved it. I think I gave The Long Game 3.5 stars. I'm sorry, it was still amazing, and I'm still like a super fan, but like I said, they're already together, and like the main conflict was that they just couldn't come out because of hockey dynamics. And I know that is a very real and serious thing, but Shane was like already out to a lot of the hockey community.
And I was like, why can't they just, it wasn't that they couldn't come out, it was that they couldn't be dating rivals. And I think you just need to be more of a sports fan to understand how serious that is. And I could not give zero fucks about sports outside of sports romance. My Super Bowl is RuPaul's Drag Race. But, yeah, those are my thoughts. And I also just started, this is the new week, I just started this book called Like a Power Play, which is a sapphic hockey romance with disability rep. I'm just really hooked on this like whole hockey romance thing, which I was trying to explain to my friend who's also like a big fan of the show of Heated Rivalry. I was like, yeah, I don't think you understand how big the subgenre of hockey romance is. Yeah, but I have like so many other books I want to be reading. I'll probably do another weekly reading vlog. I might include some like reading in my Vlogmas. Just as a note, I am doing 12 days of Vlogmas. I'm not doing Vlogmas every day. Yeah, thank you if you've watched this video. Just know from the bottom of my heart, I love you and thank you for watching this. I appreciate you, and let me know in the comments what you have been reading. Okay, bye.